Sometimes I feel that sentimental is like a bad word. It has a very bad reputation when we're discussing cinema. Do you agree with that? And was that a conversation that you had on set about how far to go with emotions?
For me, there's a distinction between sentimentality and emotion, personally. You know, I think sentimentality is usually sort of cheap emotion or emotion for the sake of it, or trying to affect the viewer and squeeze tears out of them. You know, I mean, a commercial with a puppy in it can make somebody cry, okay? I think that in cinema, though, a release of genuine emotion and openly is one of the great things about the form for me, and I don't, think we need to be coy about that. We didn't discuss it enormously. I think the aim in making the film was not to be emotional in any way. The emotion that emerges in those scenes is usually as a result of characters meeting obstacles or trying to do something, and other stuff gets thrown up as a result of that. So, but yes, I was aware of the film privately that if it worked, it would be profoundly emotional in its expression and hopefully touch people, but sentimental, never.
Hey, Andrew, there is a really cool scene in Pain and Glory by Pedro Almodóvar. The characters film a director that says that the best thing to show emotion is to hold your tears, but there are a lot of choices you can make as an actor. I'm thinking of Snotting like Viola Davis, or a single tear, or holding your tears. How do you, the thing you do most times in the film? How is that choice? Because there are a lot of powerful and emotional scenes in the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I try not to overthink it too much, to be honest. It feels very instinctive from character to character, from situation to situation. I think what was interesting about this particular situation and Tobias for me was that he starts out as someone who's very unemotional, who's quite cut off from his heart. By design, he doesn't want to feel very much. He's scared of feeling. And then it's like he's thrust into a relationship where he is forced to feel, and what he discovers is that he has a lot of feelings to express. And they're going through the most impossibly difficult, profound moments together. And I think there's something nice in the contrast between Florence's character and my character, which is usually, I suppose, the other way around, where there's the female character in the relationship has more access to their own emotionality, and the male is much more kind of closed off. And I really thought it was really lovely to feel, I don't know whether that was conscious or unconscious or just kind of happened that way, that that Tobias had more access to his own feelings around certain things.
I don't want to get personal in a 6-minute interview, but I remember an amazing speech in the show of Steve Colbert when you were talking about grief, love.
Mm-hmm.
Has it been therapeutical to do a film that talks about this, about grief, about love, about loss?
Yeah, I don't love the word therapeutic because I feel like it's misunderstood or misinterpreted or conjures images of self-obsession and navel-gazing and a kind of very insular process. But I feel like as actors, as artists, all we have is our own souls, our own raw material, our own feelings, our own experiences, our own imagination, but it comes from us or whatever we're connected to outside of us. So making a film like this was healing. I like that word. I think healing through self-expression, through having a context or a container to express these difficult feelings and experiences in a way that is safe, but also in a way that is of service to something greater, like a story, like an audience who maybe don't have the time or the patience or the capacity or the courage to face their own feelings about their own lives. I think film helps us. I know when I'm alone in a movie theater or watching a film on an airplane, like it's much easier for me to access my own feelings about my own life. according to what I'm watching on screen.
Mm-hmm. John, how has been reuniting with Andrew? Because I think you have watched him grow as an actor 3 years, but how was going from Boy A to We Live in Time?
Well, extraordinary, because he's the exact same and in lots of ways completely different, in the sense that he's grown both as a man and as an artist. And Boy was right at the start of Andrew's career, and he was playing a character who was so terrified about whether he was going to be allowed a life or not. And there was lots of you in that, I felt, and there was lots of he was vibrating with a degree of terror in the role that now I look back at it and it looks like a young man setting out on life in a way that was very, very touching and truthful in the performance. And with this, I think the thing that makes the performance of Tobias very special and everything you're asking about is he's now a man who's very comfortable with his own emotions, and that allows his work to take on a degree of ease and to portray a slightly different kind of male lead in a film, of somebody who is a different kind of beast to either an alpha or a beta or whatever the narrow categories are, which is someone who is utterly masculine and not afraid of his emotions. And that's what is, I think, very special about Tobias in Andrew's hands. And it could have been a part which could have lent towards some of the quirkier aspects of the part, and only done that, and only been a certain kind of English bloke. And that would have been a shame, because the material wanted something deeper, and who he has turned into has brought that to it.
Thank you.
Thank you, that's all the time.
Thank you.
Sure. 6 minutes. We got a lot done in 6 minutes.
It really is.
Yeah.